fifth, Grow with Google, hosted by US PAC, and with the power with Google. US PAC, US Pan Asian Chamber of Commerce, is one of the nonprofit organizations, the oldest organization since 1984, helping not just the educational foundation, also helping Asian small businesses. My name is Omer Mutaqi. I am COO as well as a co-founder for My HR Management. My HR is Georgia-based company. We are HR consulting firm, provide staff augmentation, training and development, RPO, and you name it. Anything and everything under HR arena. So last week we had a workshop. We talk about reach customers online with Google. That was a very powerful, workshop. And then today is the second part of that workshop that we will cover is how to create your business profile and how to enhance your business or get more customer via Google ad. Most of us know Vivienne. Vivienne is actually a social media guru, coach, entrepreneur. She started her company ykcreative back in 2003. She's gonna lead us today like she did last time. Vivienne, all yours.
Thank you so much, Omar. And thank you everyone for joining us or coming back. All right, so let's get started. So then if you don't have a business already set up, well, how do you set one up? To begin, one, you have to have a Gmail account. So just remember that you would have to go to google.com/business and go ahead and set up an account. Great. So once you set up an account, you can go ahead and fill out all the instructions about your business. You'll be entering your business name, your address, your contact information, and so forth. And when you have a physical address, what Google will do is request a verification to make sure there's no duplicate in the system or that someone else isn't trying to hijack your brand. So essentially, they'll either send you a postcard with a code, or you'll be able to do it online digitally. Next screen. Okay, so once you have your business profile set up, then how do you then move forward to create an engagement? Well, when you fill out the content in your business profile, remember, just like how you would experience the search when you look for a vendor, I'm sure you look for their contact information like address or phone number. Maybe you'll look for reviews to make sure that this is a good business to do business with. And also maybe you can find them on the map, or maybe if it's a restaurant, you may want to be able to reserve, once you find the restaurant. So these are all the features that you can create through the business profile. And also, as you can see on the screen, you can see the posts. It helps the customers find you a lot more easily. They'll be able to see the customer reviews and also to connect or speak with you directly. Okay, so next, what we're going to go over is, again, when you're ready to set up your business profile, as I mentioned, make sure that you fill out the form so that you can get the verification code through Google. And they'll send you a code that you enter to your account to verify that you are the actual business owner. Okay, so on the next screen, we're going to go into setting up the online advertising campaign. And the reason we're going to kind of jump right into it is because this is the area that a lot of people can feel overwhelmed by. So I want to take you through this step, one step at a time, because it can be really easy. And then I'm going to also advise on areas that maybe if you need someone else to help you, that particular function, it would be a good idea to hire someone else to help you. But essentially, if you are ready to advertise, now that you have your SEO, your search engine optimization organized, you have your business profile set up through Google, then why not go ahead and set up advertising? Because advertising is a great way to broadcast that you are in business, that people can find you, okay? So next, we're gonna go over, to kind of whet your appetite, we're gonna go over a success story of a business who set up her business during COVID of all times. And she was able to find success just through advertising. Let's play the video. While we're setting up the video to play, it's very compelling because you would think during COVID times it would be very challenging to launch a brand new business. But as you will see, this one individual, she was able to push forward very successfully just by utilizing Google paid media. And good for her, because she went ahead and gave it a try. And that's something I want to encourage everyone, because I notice that's what people typically get overwhelmed by or feel nervous that they may make a mistake, that their ad may not look right, or they may use poor content. But what's beautiful is that what's wonderful about marketing is you just give it a try. You could set your budget very low, right? And you could just test your market by placing an ad and then just learning over time on understanding your audience and who actually is able to respond. So I encourage everyone to, once you learn this, to go ahead and give it a try. I have it playing on my screen.
It's not playing here.
Vivienne, can you hear us?
Okay, again, I apologize for this hiccup here. What I'm going to do is move on to the next screen. We'll come back to the video next time. So let's talk a little bit more about how advertising on Google pay-per-click can help you. So what's wonderful about advertising on Google is that you pay for the results, right? Meaning you pay for the impressions that you get through advertising. So you may have many impressions, but once people click over, it's called pay per click. That's when you actually pay for the ad. So that's what's beneficial. So when you see in your results page, you may see your ad get displayed, but that's essentially free unless someone actually clicks on the link or the visual display. Once the user clicks on it, then you actually pay for the ad. So there's a lot of benefit for advertising on Google, right? Yes. So that's one of the benefits. You can get the view, but not necessarily be charged in it unless the shopper clicks on your ad. And another wonderful thing about advertising on Google is that you are able to create visibility of your brand. So that's also another wonderful thing. And you can learn a lot from your audience as well. So again, like I said, please give it a shot. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just set up a low budget and try this system. And as you can see on the screen, okay, going to the next screen. Now, as I mentioned, setting up ads is fairly simple, but Google made it easy for you, and they call it smart campaigns. And why do they call it smart campaigns? Because it was specifically designed for small businesses and or brand new advertisers, and I call them newbies. So people who aren't so technical, they just have other things to do, but they know how important it is to advertise, and Google recognized this, so they made a feature called Smart Campaigns, and it's basically a set of questions that you fill out, and then Google will do the rest. Okay, so we'll go over the details next on how to set up your Google ad. Now, first, the hardest part that I notice with business owner is, what is it that you want once your ad is displayed, right? And that's what we call to action. And you may hear marketers use the term CTA, call to action, and that is when people see the ad and they come to the ad, what is that you want them to do? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to reserve a seat, or do you want them to actually buy that specific product? What is the conversion you want out of that customer or the prospect? That is the first decision you should make when setting up a Google ad. The next one is, then how do you want to enter your business information? Well, what is your business? Are you selling cupcakes? Are you selling jam like the video? Or are you selling retail clothing? Or are you a service like a dentist or a doctor or an attorney? So you want to be able to list your business type. And also you want to be able to create a page, a web page. And business profile is an option where when they identify you are the business they want to interact with, well, where do they go to learn more about you, right? Maybe they want to learn a little bit more through customer reviews, or maybe a little bit more about your services. So you want to have a landing page, as they call it, to learn a little bit more about your business. And you could do that through Google Business Profile or setting up an actual web page. The fourth one on the list, now this is the part where I mentioned earlier, you can do this yourself, or you can hire a writer to help you write a message that's compelling, that's exciting and intriguing, right? Or that's to the point. Sometimes I've noticed business owners, they want to have like the whole book of information about everything they offer in a little tiny space. And that can be overwhelming. Imagine if you were the prospect. Do you have time to read a 500-word count ad? Probably not. You want to read something that's concise, direct, and to the point. So when you write an ad, take some time to consider what it is that you want to say in a shortest amount of space, smallest amount of space that's direct and compelling. The next feature, choose keywords and themes, and we'll go over this through the detail in the next few slides. But on choosing keywords and themes, now this is kind of like the work when you use social media tags. It's similar, but it's not the exact same thing. But essentially, if you're selling a cupcake, strawberry cupcakes, and you have a special on it, Well, you want to put it under a theme of bakery or, you know, desserts. Those are the kind of themes that you want to identify so that Google knows whenever someone is searching for more of a general term, your company gets listed under those general terms. You may be selling strawberry cupcakes, but then if you place it under bakery or award-winning bakery or desserts, then you have a higher chance to be listed under that category versus someone looking for yoga pants. Okay. The next one is setting a budget. Again, we're going to go through some of these details in the next few slides, but this is also very important because, again, I've noticed small businesses, they're afraid to put a big budget, right? And we don't even know what is a big budget. That's all tied to, you know, the size of your business. But it's important to at least have an average amount that you want to spend per day. And that's how Google calculates per day, or maybe an entire amount. But if you know what your daily budget is, and then you can better calculate on your returns on how much you're spending through your advertisement. So let's go through this step by step in the next few slides so that you'll have a better understanding. Again, I assure you this is very fun and you may even get addicted once you get started. All right, start with a goal. As I mentioned before, this is very important. What is it you want your customers to do when they come to your ad? Do you want them to possibly buy now? Or would you like for them to reserve an order? Or would you want them to call you directly? Maybe you don't have an online inventory. Maybe you want to take the order through a call, or maybe you want them to actually visit your office. So define what the goal is, and that's what we're going to set when we create the ad. Okay, and that's going to be tied to your conversion as well. You know, some people just want to, even if you want people to sign up for newsletters, as an example, maybe you have a short form that people can fill out and then you can call back or contact them. So there are many various ways to engage with a prospect, but this is going to be very important to set a goal, because what you don't want to do is for the prospect to just come to a general page, and this happens a lot, and they don't know what to do because there's no clear direction, and then they'll immediately bounce off. Then you would have just spent money on the ad to drive traffic, and then you have no closure or no conversion. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I would also encourage, when you do have the opportunity to engage with that prospect, when they come to you through the ad, ask them, how did you hear about us? That's another short survey that you can implement. How did you hear about us? Was it through a Google ad? Was it word of mouth? Or was it, you know, through just random chance? So then that can also help you identify your budget spend. Okay, the next screen. If you already have a business profile, great. And like I mentioned earlier, make sure you fill out as much detail as possible about your business, where you're located, and customer reviews, so that they can learn as much about you before they engage, right? It saves a lot of time. And on the next screen, what we'll go over is, this is where is an example. You enter your business name. And this is really important because when people search, possibly they may have heard of you elsewhere, they'll be able to enter, for example, Trade Street Jam. Then your name will come up immediately versus another business with a similar title. So pretty straightforward. I would recommend that you give this a try. Okay, on the next screen. This is your website, and do enter your website. And as I mentioned, you can also include your business profile. And here's a suggestion. When you do direct people to your website through your ad, don't direct your customer to a general website. For example, just your homepage where it has so much information about your company. Because for a consumer just to come to your gateway or your front door, they would be lost again, because they came to your ad that was specific to what they were looking for. And then if you then drive them to a site with a whole basket of information, then there's a bigger chance that you're going to lose them. So what you want to do is actually drive them to a specific page that is related to the ad. So if you have a hardware store and you're advertising for a hammer, don't take them to a store or storefront with a basket of all the tools. Instead, direct them to a page specific to the hammer. And next screen, fantastic. This is wonderful because a beautiful part about this tool is when you create or develop your ad, you can also see what it's going to look like. So there's no blind spot. So you can see on the screen what it could look through a mobile phone and what it would look like on the desktop. And as you know, more and more people are searching through mobile. So you want to make sure whatever information or ad that you build that is conducive for both spaces. Again, make it simple, make it to the point, and visually appealing. Next screen. All right, as we continue to build our ad, we're coming back to the importance of content. You know, in your content, try to use keywords that, again, is tied to the ad. So if you're selling strawberry cupcakes, then use the words that's heavily related to the cupcake or bakery, because those are the words people will typically search for, right? And the more words you use that's tied to your product, then you have a higher chance of being ranked on top. And also recognize as you write your ad, what is it that you want to accomplish? Do you actually want them to come to your bakery? Then say, visit our bakery where we have an array of other flavors, maybe, so that you can introduce them with a strawberry cupcake, but then mention that you have an array of other options. Also, you want the headline to be compelling and you don't want it to be a mile long. So be sensitive to trying to keep your headlines concise, clear, and Google recommends 30 characters max. And underneath the headline, you also have an area where you can include your descriptions. So this is a space where you can add more characters to define exactly what it is that you're trying to sell. So again, once you subscribe and sign up to advertise, you can walk through these steps, and you don't have to have it 100% right the first time, but you only learn once you give it a try. Okay, next screen. Now this is a part that's also very important. It's called keyword themes. So like I mentioned, using the example of strawberry cupcakes, you want to be able to categorize your product. Is it bakery? Is it eating? Is it consumables? Fruity, right? And it's for bakeries, sweet, you know, what is the theme of the product that you're trying to push? Versus if you're trying to sell yoga pants. If you're selling yoga pants, you want to say meditation, yoga studio, or not yoga studio, but yoga exercise. So you have a different set of categories. Another example being if you are a law firm, right? You have a different category. So take notes on what type of themes that you think your business could fit when you arrive to this section. Because again, this will help Google place you in ranking when they find the prospect looking for a product just like yours. Okay, all right, going to the next screen. This is also important too. This aspect is similar to a traditional method of advertising, where when you advertise, and you have to know your audience and where they live. So if you have a brick and mortar, you definitely want to advertise in your local area, or you have a greater chance of reaching your local area versus someone in a different state. Although that's a possibility nowadays with online delivery and shipping, you may be able to sell across the country, but know that that could just add to your cost of advertising. But the tighter your radius, the more efficient it will be to advertise. But in order to set that, the information, just include in the section, the zip code, the cities and regions. So essentially know where your customers are residing, and you'll be able to populate this section. And again, this is very important because the broader your advertising market is, it's just going to be more expensive. Why? Because the broader the market is, like I said, you pay per every click. So the more visible you are, you have a greater chance of more people clicking on your ad. And that's fine. That's exactly what you would want. But at the same time, you want to be able to deliver. So if your business, for example, is where you're able to service your business, if you're selling cupcakes in the 50 states or in the mainland, and you know shipping to Hawaii or Puerto Rico is going to be expensive, then you want to exclude those 2 states. So you want to keep that in mind. That's an example. So know where your customer resides and the easeability of delivering your product, or the accessibility of your customers being able to come to your store. Next screen. So again, daily budget. This is another very important feature. But the beautiful and part of this is you can set up your budget. You don't have to, like in old days, it was usually a higher bracket in advertising costs. But now, because it's digital, you can place a budget minimum typically of $5 a day. $5 a day times 30, that's $150. For as low as, I feel like I'm selling you this, but with $150, you can reach your customers online. And you don't have to have a big budget. You can start with $150 or even less to give this a try and see what return you get. And so with that, I'm going to pause a little bit because I think I went over all the little step-by-step features. They're pretty easy. I don't want to overwhelm you. Google made it very easy for small businesses or newcomers. So again, it's just a matter of filling the pages step by step and understanding what it is that you want for your customers, what it is that you're selling, and being clear with what services that you offer and how they'll be able to reach you and where. So that's our review, your campaign and launch. Going to the next screen, recap and resources. Yes, perfect. Now what? So, you know, advertising can be a lot of fun. As I mentioned, once you get into your groove, you're going to be addicted to it. And I've also noticed with business owners, when they create an ad, they just create this one ad and they try to make it work. My recommendation is, you may hear marketers say, they may use the term A/B testing, and that is you create minimum of 2 ads for the same product, right? So that you can better understand your customer base. So you can design an ad in one section, maybe a one age group, and your second ad for the same product can be for a different age group, or maybe a different neighborhood or region, maybe in the East Coast or the West Coast. And the reason this is really important to consider is you get to learn about your audience a little bit more quickly versus trying to learn based on one ad. So these are the next steps that you can consider as you become more and more advanced. And you can try different keywords and key the themes as you consider adding more ads into your basket. And also another important aspect is Google Analytics. We showed you how to set that up, or we talked about it with SEO in our last session, but we didn't dive too much into it. Google Analytics, if it might even be helpful if you hire a professional who understands Google Analytics, but you'll be able to see, well, who's actually hitting your page. And if they were to hit your homepage and they were to leave immediately, you would understand why, what worked and what didn't. So then that information can help you better create the next set of ads. So I encourage you to always look at, review your Google Analytics so that you can understand your customers. And also another part that's wonderful that I didn't mention earlier about setting up Google Ads is you can pause anytime. In the old days where if you were to advertise, you were kind of locked into that time frame because it was traditional, like maybe radio or billboards. You were kind of locked into that time frame. But what's wonderful about digital ad is you can pause anytime, right? Maybe your campaign or your message, your narrative changed. Well, pause your ad, switch it up, launch a new ad. So that's another beautiful feature through Google pay-per-click. Great. So on to the next slide. To recap, looking at this screen, you have 3 blocks: the text ad, organic results, and the business profile. So the organic results we went over last week, and that is a result of managing your SEO and how organized your website is, okay? And today we went over how to set up your own ad, which is the text ad, and to the right, how to set up your business profile. So if you get those 3 in place, then I assure you, Google will love you, will love your business, and will be able to rank you high, potentially on the first page. And next screen. So the next steps here on the screen, we have lists of these free features that Google makes available for everyone interested to learn more. We have trends, test my site, search console. We went over the business profile page today, and then we went over the advertising, setting up your ads today. And these are just a handful of tools that's available. There's much, much more that we can display in the next set of pages. However, I want to pause here for a second, and I know we're short on time because I'm sure you have questions. But just know, as I mentioned in the previous screen, if you have those 3 aspects, sections down, which is your organic, SEO, search for your website, and you consider advertising, and you set up your business profile, just give that a try for the next 3 to 6 months. You'll definitely notice changes in your website traffic and engagements from your prospects. And this is why Google actually cares enough to help you be successful, and they provide you all the right tools to help you get there. All right, so the next screen, there's a list of additional tools that you can sign up for or look into. And there's another screen with additional tools, and we'll be able to send this information to you, but I'm ready to wrap it up for today. Any questions?
We have some questions coming, but before we go to the question, Vivienne, I want to say, can you hear me? Vivienne?
Hannah, can you please put Vivienne and Omar side by side? I think Vivienne might have one of her devices muted. When she sees Omar speaking, she'll notice that.
Yes, Vivienne. Vivienne, can you hear me, Vivienne? Vivienne, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, Vivienne, I want to say thank you so much. You covered a lot within this short span of time that we have. And with all these technical difficulties, you are able to keep the smile on your face. So I give you a high five for that. Okay. Just, we have some questions coming in, and I want to go over a couple of points that I wanted to share with personal experience, since I'm also a small business and have done some of the items that you just mentioned today. Very key important point, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. A lot of people don't even realize that they have to have a Gmail account. So they try to go ahead and build the their Google page, and they couldn't able to do it. So very first, very key important thing is having a Gmail account. Second thing that I will also share with you with my personal experience is having the verification code. So they ask your cell phone number or text messaging, that way you can text. If you don't have that, they'll send you a mail postcard, and sometimes we don't realize it, we throw in the garbage, and it takes about 10 to 20 days to get that postcard. So please look out for that postcard if you have not given them your cell phone number. So I want to share with you a personal experience. Now also question is for you, Vivienne, can people go ahead and make a comments on like your dislike page like they do in Facebook? Or I've never experienced that on Google page.
On the Google profile page?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
No, they can give you a review. So once you set up a business profile page, people can enter a review.
Gotcha.
And also, a lot of consumers or business owners ask me, well, what if the review is negative? I don't want to have a negative review.
Yes, that's a problem.
A fake review. Fortunately, if you do get a fake review, then you'll have the opportunity to dispute it. Contact Google and to dispute that, have it removed, because they'll have it verified. Because like you said in the first mention, you need a Google account, right? A Gmail account. So whoever does give you a review, they'll also verify, well, is this just a random email address someone created just to write that one review? Gotcha. Or does this person have a history? So if a person actually has a credible history, then they would consider a value in the review, right? Versus just one off. So just know that, and if you were to get a negative review, hey, it's feedback.
Yeah, you can use it for your benefit and make sure that you fix yourself.
Right. And were you asking specifically if someone can like your Google?
Yeah, or make comments, or positive comments and negative comments, or maybe a thumbs up or something?
Yes, they can actually like or give you feedback on your page. Gotcha.
Great. Any audience have any question, please, if they want to put the question in the question and Q&A section, and I'll read the question to Vivienne. While we're waiting for some more questions, Vivienne, one other quick question that I have. I know we talk about Google Analytics. We talked about last time. If you talk about, I know it's a whole tool, but can you just give us a quick, like maybe 1 or 2 pointers? How, if I have a small company, I'm on Google, what should I, when I go to the Google Analytics, what should I look for it very first to see, where the ads I'm placing, what results I'm getting?
Well, number one thing that I would look for is how many people are actually leaving when they come to your page, right? Because you can get those hits, right? And they may be paying for the hits, the links that then comes to your website. But then you want to also see the measurement called bounce. How many people are actually leaving once they hit your homepage? Because what you want is for people to stay, right? And to browse the rest of the pages that you have. So if you find that 75% of your viewers or visitors are leaving your homepage, then you know your site is not interesting, or it's not captivating enough for them to stick around. Because if they don't stick around by going to a second or third page, they're not going to come back. So that would be the number one thing. Good point. Also, second point that I would look for is, where did they go after they hit your first page? Gotcha. Right? What information are they looking for? Is it a contact us? If that's the case, then maybe you want to move contact us to the homepage. Maybe, make it faster for them to access you. Or is it about us? Do they want to learn more about you?
Mhm.
So the more information you get, as they say, double down.
Yeah, yeah. And I like your point you mentioned when you were going over the material, that if you are selling a, like a bread, loaf of bread, so just make sure if you have that ad, make sure when people click, they go to that ad, that specific item, rather than coming to your website and looking all your laundry list what you offer. So be specific about the ad.
Yes. You know what? Everything is important, but like writing your content, every aspect is important. But this is very, very important, because typically this happens 9.5 out of 10 times. Everyone kind of just drives everyone to a home page or just a basic form page, and if you put yourself in the shoes, you didn't come here to start your search over again. Right? If you found what you're looking for, you're ready to buy. Typically, it's an impulse buy. Typically, a lot of people do make decisions based on impulse, right? Even after they did the research, when they're ready to transact, it's usually impulse. So they're ready to move forward. But if you bring them to a section where you have to search all over again, then you've already lost them.
Good point. Does this all help improve your website ranking on the Google as well?
Which part?
The creating the Google page, business page, and
yes, that will help. The more information that Google can find about you, then it's going to make you relevant. So the more discreet or lack of information Google finds about you, then they're going to not rank you. Because I mentioned in our last session, Google is a business too. So the old Vidal Sassoon commercial tagline, if you don't look good, we don't look good. So they're not going to rank up bad pages, right? Or pages or brands that lacks adequate amount of information. So the more information you have, whether other social media accounts, the more you'll be pushed higher.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions. We got a question that if your business is virtual, how would you able to set it up on the Google business page?
So, I know that consumers also have rented offices, right? Virtual offices, just needs like a unit office number. You can do that as well, because again, you can get that you can get the postcard to the address, so you can set one up.
Gotcha.
As an example.
Got it. All right. Also, Google send out, this is another question that we have. Google send out coupons. They send out the coupons to you can do your Google ad. Can you elaborate to most of our small businesses on how to use this? So this question is, can you explain us how to use that coupon?
Essentially, I know Google typically sends between $50 to $100, coupons. So you can use that in your budget to advertise. Gotcha. And typically you can $50, $100, that can probably go in a day or two or in a week. You can dabble with that. But it's just simple as just entering that code when you're ready to check it out.
Got it. Great. This is a question from me, actually. Most of our US PAC members are service business. I know you talk about a lot of brick and mortar and retail businesses. Can you share a couple of key pointers, especially the keywords for service businesses?
Well, it's not too different even for service businesses. If we start from our first session, you want your website, right, which is your branded page, to be organized in content. So top down, you want a broad, not too broad, but you want a very specific title, and you want a clear description. You don't have to write a whole paragraph, but you want a very organized set of information about your business. So that's SEO.
SEO, yeah. So search engine optimization.
Yes, SEO just means you want your website to meet the standards of Google. So it's organized content. You don't have broken pages. You don't have misleading information, like broken addresses. Notice how some addresses are outdated. Have you even found websites that businesses no longer even exist?
Yeah.
Right? So you want your website, or you've maybe had some business names or companies that you had, years before, and that's still up and running. So your name is tied to both. So it's confusing to a consumer because both of those old websites might pop up. So you want to be organized, right?
Gotcha.
That's number one. And then you go ahead and utilize, really, I encourage everyone to become familiar with all these tools that Google has created. Yeah, it can be scary because that means Google knows a lot more about you, but do not fear because, you know, they are on your side as far as trying to create visibility for you. So go ahead and investigate. And truly, you're a business owner, not literally you, but as business owners, your DNA is you're somewhat of a risk taker. That's what it takes to be a business owner, right? So give this a try. You can hear me speak or you can hear Omer speak and go to many classes, but you're never going to get a handle until you give it a try yourself. Exactly.
Great. Thank you so much. One last question that I have here. ROI, I know it's a whole complete different chapter. And so can you give us like maybe 1 or 2 points how we can measure ROI, return on investment? I know we talk about it, but you know, just wanted to...
You know, we had a great conversation earlier. ROI, return on investment. Number one is know the formula, how to come up with the ROI measurement, right? So essentially ROI is, the math formula is how much are you spending for the ad? So if you spend $100 a day, right? And then what is the sale? So after you're spending $100 in an ad, in that particular ad, did you get a sale? So if someone actually bought something through that ad and bought it for $50, someone bought it for $50, and we'll just keep it very simple, then that means you made $50, right? And net gross, we're going to keep it very simple. So you made $50 out of the $100 ad sale, then your ROI is $50. However, if your return on investment is $50. Now, if you advertise and spent $100 and you didn't make any sale, that means you didn't make any ROI. You're still in a negative 100.
Negative, yeah.
But it's essentially very important to know how much you're spending and how much you made on the cost of the advertisement, not the overall sale, right, from the business. This is important because people kind of they don't organize their ledger. So know how much you're spending, know how much you sold off that ad, then the net is also the cost of the acquisition of the new customer from that sale.
Great. Thank you so much. I just quickly wanted to go over 3 points that I learned today as a small business owner is, putting yourself on a Google map is Google, a business page, you're coming in a, entire front of the entire world. So if someone traveling from other state, even though you're a small business, local business, they'll be able to see you. That's one very key thing. And the other thing is, what do you want from your ad? Really, that's really ring a bell. And you really need to do homework. And you said, as you mentioned, create 2 ads. So really, work on your ad because that's going to bring the traffic. And also, when you do it, the keywords, that's very crucial. I'm sure you can assist to that. The keywords are crucial because if you don't know the keywords, your industry keywords or what people are searching for it, you can put as many as you want. You're not going to get the traffic.
And to recap on that, if it's hard to identify where keywords are. Last week's session, go to trends, google.com trends, to identify, well, what are the keywords? What words are trending right now that's related to your business? And that will help you too. Definitely.
Well, Vivienne, I think, I so much thank you for your efforts, your dedication, your time, and thank you again, even though there was a technical issue, you were able to, keep us going. And I also want to thank you because you're part of the US PAC, social media marketing as well. So thank you for that. And in the end, I wanted to, conclude with the US PAC. US PAC is actually, again, as I mentioned, since 1984. They are advocating for small Asian-owned businesses, non-profit organization. Please visit the website, www.uspacfc.org. USPAACC.com, US PAC Asian, US Pan Asian Chamber of Commerce. And if you want to any further information, please feel free to email at info@uspac.com. I wanted to just quickly go over with the upcoming events that US PAC, and I just want to, before we go to that, I just want to share with everybody my personal experience again, because I've been part of the US PAC since 2005. US PAC, even this pandemic, during this pandemic time, year and a half, they have done such a great job putting great programs, great programs like this, workshops. The pitch is one of the US PAC is the first one who started the pitch, MBEs to or small businesses to the corporate. So that's also, credit goes to US PAC. So I wanted to share some of the upcoming events that they have coming up, and will strongly encourage everyone to join these events. Okay. Actually, I did attend it myself, the Ready, Set, Go, and it's a very valuable training tool for Ready, Set, Go. I was participant, and you can see my picture there, a handsome looking guy in the corner. So it's very valuable for us, as a small business. I took it back in 2016, and I'm still taking the value from there. Okay, so they have a virtual one-on-one matchmaking as well. I'm sorry, now I can see the bigger screen. Is coming up. Also, after that is, grow yourself with the, grow your business, YouTube. That's also a workshop coming up. And then you have a YouTube to grow business again. The part 2, I think. If there's any other question, if not, then we can conclude our meeting. Anything else you want to say, Vivienne, in the end?
No, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Omar, for moderating this. Had a lot of fun.
I tried my best.